Hello and welcome to this webinar on how to turbocharge your business development activities through the AI tools that are available. I'm joined by Arthur Bennett, who's an AI expert and helps professionals navigate this amazing opportunity as well as, a complex world. Welcome to you, Arthur.
Thank you very much for having me, David. Thank you very much. It's lovely to be
So,
here.
you're based in Jersey. It'd be great to hear a little bit about your background and your interest in this field and how you work with companies to help them maximize the opportunity of AI.
And I'd be delighted to. So I first got into the kind of AI space really around the time where ChatGPT sort of started to really take a hold in the market and started to make a name for itself. And I was in my first year of A levels at the time, actually. So it was a really interesting time to see how it was affecting the education space. And one thing I noticed was that, including myself, there were people using AI to write their essays, and the teaching staff had no way of actually being able to see where AI was being used. So that was my first kind of interaction with AI and actually developing something that detected where AI was used. And we worked with the government of Jersey education space. We worked with some councils in the UK and also had the fantastic opportunity of having some opportunity in the States as well. And as a result of those kind of connections I made and the dealings with different councils and organizations, there was a real need for a kind of AI education material. And that was something that was translated kind of loud and clear by the groups we were speaking to and the individuals that we were actually engaging with as well. So essentially, that is how Utendum AI, the learning AI learning platform, really came about. And yeah, I've been in that space for about just under 3 years now. So it's been, yeah, a really good journey so far.
Fantastic. I'm going to keep this session very practical. There's lots of people will be, it's quite distracting almost the amount of information that's available in this space. But
It really is, yeah.
it's useful to keep this on a context of looking at business development. I've used certain tools myself a lot in the last year or so that have really boosted the amount of capacity I've got to actually do more and get more done. So that's the lens through which we're looking at today, and we encourage questions from the com in the chat. I'm actively looking at the chat. So if you have questions or comments for Arthur on different tools or what you could be using, just pop them in there and we'll bring them up to him live. But Arthur, if you want to share your slides to prepare us to run through some examples, that would be great.
Oh, definitely. I will put my slides up now. So, so yeah, this is essentially an overview to begin with on Utendum AI. So this is our learning AI learning platform. And to give you a bit of a kind of overview of what Utendum AI is, it's our AI education platform, and we purely focus on the productivity benefits of AI. So I'm sure you see kind of loads of different things where you're hearing about how AI can save you hours a day and kind of essentially streamline different workflows. One thing which we've noticed for quite a while is that people actually aren't all too sure where these workflows can be implemented. And that's exactly what we do. We focus on the side that saves time, but actually helps you like confidently adopt AI in a way that is both ethical, responsible, but also in a way that when you're implementing it, you're confident about how you're going about it. And as you'll be well aware, there are so many AI advancements that are on a daily basis at this stage. So we're always making sure that any kind of new tools that come out or any kind of updates that are made, essentially you know about them. And that's literally being done on a daily basis with these new advancements, new models. So yeah, all these things are being implemented on like a day-to-day basis. And as you mentioned as well, there's so much noise about the AI space and it can be quite overwhelming at times. So we've come up with the kind of the mission, which is to cut through the fluff with AI. There's a lot of noise out there. So we cut through the fluff. We teach what we believe matters. The tools are most practical and the best tools for the right purpose and delivering real results on a productivity standpoint.
And what do you think about the benefits for small businesses versus large? So, I mean, like as an SME, you can implement tools quite quickly. Often I see larger businesses actually find that unless they've developed the tools themselves, they can't implement third-party tools because of a whole range of constraints. What's your observation on who can really get rolling quickly, or what are the objections in smaller or larger organizations?
You're definitely right. I mean, we've noticed as well with larger organizations, there's so many more data privacy hoops you have to jump through to actually get to using these platforms. And I think the SME kind of space can really utilize these platforms by implementing them a lot quicker, having a lot less people to sort of train up in the tools, and ultimately being able to kind of what it feels like double your workforce just by being able to save time using AI. But yeah, I think SMEs do have an advantage that they can implement these tools much quicker. And that's something we've seen as well. The bigger organizations, there's a lot more processes to follow to actually get them to be able to utilize these tools, which are so powerful.
Fantastic.
So, something I want to go over is what AI actually is. Now, essentially, the best description I can give to artificial intelligence is it gives machines the ability to be able to perform tasks that would usually require human intelligence. Now, this is why it's so different from automation, and consistent kind of misconception is that AI and automation kind of go hand in hand. But some of the tasks that AI can do, which set it apart from things like automation, is, as I'm sure we've used it ourselves for, drafting emails, analyzing data sets, and it's best for analyzing data sets for anomalies as well. So picking up kind of on patterns, being able to create plans. So if you're wanting to create like a week plan or a to-do list out of something, or being able to summarize, in a lot of cases, regulatory updates. And it's really good at being able to kind of save 5, 10 minutes here, or even just make something, like translate the language from something to be a lot more human and just understandable for kind of everyone involved.
So, like analyzing data sets could be in a business development context, could be like, for example, a company gets referrals from lots of different companies.
Mhm.
They might have that in a spreadsheet, and they actually, if there's a lot of data, they could say, well, who are my top introducers? Where are they based? There might be patterns in the data that take time to see, aren't there? So,
Yeah, definitely. And
I,
you can program the AIs in a way so that they actually give you these figures in a really kind of easy to read response format. And that's something which we use ourselves as well. But it is a really useful way to utilize AI.
And on the drafting emails, I've used Fixer for a long time now, and
Hmm.
basically that now has learnt my tone of voice. It drafts emails for me off the back of calls. It doesn't. People would think that, oh, that must be bad because it's drafting something that's going to already be sent, or there's too much, But actually, it's just saving loads of time reading the message that's there and creating a draft response for you simply to hit send. It saves me hours and hours every week, and it's something that any SME could implement actually quite rapidly.
No, and that's a really good example as well of giving the AI a good amount of data so that it knows as much about you as possible in terms of how you write and how you speak. And yeah, it's all about whatever you're happy with. If it works for you, then it's something which is, to be taken advantage of. So now we've had a look at what AI is, I think it's really important to look at what AI isn't as well. So, as powerful as AI is, it does have a number of different drawbacks and kind of things that prevent it from being a human replacement, which is, I would suggest, a very good thing. So, the drawbacks of AI, so to begin with, it makes mistakes. So, this is something where we use AI, myself included, and at times it feels like you've got like a gospel of all knowledge and you're kind of using it as something where whatever it gives you is almost seen as like fact. And it's really important to know, especially on an area that you might not be as well informed in that AI can trip up occasionally, and when it does, it doesn't actually tell you that it's got something wrong. So this is why every point here goes back to the point of AI does require human oversight to be an actually really powerful tool. So further on down the list, so it lacks true emotional understanding. So this is something where in some cases, for example, if I give you an example, so if someone's applying for a loan and they're speaking with a loan officer, they're more likely to get what they're looking for, or at least get to a reasonable outcome, rather than the AI going through the data and giving just a hard yes or no response. And another one as well, this kind of goes back to the first point as well, is that AI is heavily data dependent. So ultimately, the AI that you're using is only as good as the data it's trained on, which is why when ChatGPT first came around, the data it was trained on was so limited comparison to what it is now. But it was so limited and it had so many kind of holes that it wasn't a really useful tool. And as we've seen, the more data it's been fed over the years, the more it's been refined. Its data is now of a much higher quality, and thus the response, the actual platform itself follows that same kind of lead. And this is a negotiable one, but AI does lack creativity in the sense that if you're so one example is if you hire a human designer versus an AI designer, a lot of people do prefer the human element of kind of both the oversight, but also the fact that the human can. It goes back as well to the emotional understanding. So AI doesn't have that human intelligence that is required to make it an actual human replacement, which is exactly why sometimes it isn't as useful as just doing something manually or through a human, for example.
I think in written language it seems further ahead than in imagery. I think when I try and create imagery, it's often not quite there. Whereas actually with what we've done to create some content is to, for example, record audio from a panel discussion at a conference, have that transcribed, and then with some additional bits of flavor, use that to create an output that previously we just simply wouldn't have been able to do because a copywriter, we wouldn't have engaged to listen to the audio and then create an original content. So although it lacks creativity, I think in certain like business content, it means that you've got more capacity to actually report on the things you're doing and share them. So in a way, it boosts creativity because you've got assets that before you were just not practical to generate.
Yeah,
But it's got to be
you're
used in the
definitely
right
right.
way, isn't it? You know?
Yeah, exactly. It's also knowing when to use it and when not to use it. And I think this is where, when people use it in the way it's not best to, it can show that it has a lack in creativity. But you're absolutely right. In some cases, it will go a step further than a person would be able to in that position. So that one I'm kind of not 100% on, but that is something where it has been like a kind of common thing that pops up in relation to AI's drawbacks. And one thing as well, which is a really big thing, and it goes back to the mistakes, is that AI is prone to hallucination. So I'm sure you've seen at some stage the example where someone asks the AI how many R's are in the word strawberry, and it comes back with two, and with the knowledge that there are three R's. That is once again a really basic mistake, which does show that AI still has a lot further to come. And this is something, once again, which is quite minute in the sense that if you're asking it for something as basic as that, it really isn't the end of the world. I think the use cases that make AI really powerful really don't kind of include the hallucination aspect. But that's just these are all something to keep in mind. And I think it all goes back to the point that AI requires human oversight to be really kind of powerful and used in the best interest of everyone. And a really good summary I've put here, I think, is that AI isn't infallible, unbiased, or creative in the same way that a human can be. And it goes back to the point as well. It is more of an assistant, and it can help you accelerate any kind of workflows that you feel like you're taking too long on. But human oversight and human judgment is, I would suggest, imperative to kind of every process that you're using AI for. So some practical AI application, as we've already seen. So, for example, on an operational productivity front, where firms are already seeing quite tangible results, is where admin time is being cut with AI handling routine tasks like taking minutes, scheduling meetings, or formatting documents or note taking, all these kind of areas where AI is able to save 5, 10, 20 minutes here and there, and then it does build up throughout the day. And then if you times that by, for example, 10 staff members, then that time saving does become quite significant. And then we go to client communications as well. So a good example is where wealth managers, for example, are using AI to actually draft personalized. That's a really powerful point as well with AI. It can draft completely personalized pieces, whether it's writing or reports or whatever it may be. Essentially portfolio updates and put together a client letter, essentially following that kind of same workflow, and once again saving a great amount of time in the process as well. And regulatory tracking. So AI is also helping keep up with FCA updates or EU rule changes. And we'll go over this in the workflow in a few moments, where we have a look at how AI can turn quite a long, lengthy document into like a 30-second read, making it a lot easier to digest and just a lot of time being saved as well. And finally on this as well, so we've got the kind of management reporting and the board reporting, where essentially AI is helping save time, especially on the executive front, drafting presentations, meeting summaries, once again going back to kind of taking minutes. And it's all
Note
these points
taking
here.
though is sensational. Like the note taking on AI. I mean, people would think that we have team meetings where we use our note taker, and it can
Yeah,
summarize a 90-minute meeting and really come out with the top action points. It's incredible.
It really is. It really is. And you get the choice between having like a full transcript or you can have notes. And the part which really was quite stunning was where instead of it having to actually know who's talking, it can recognize it and it builds it up. So if you have your own AI, for example, it recognizes your voice and it recognizes somebody else's. And then it does, as you're saying, put together a really good kind of like action plan after a meeting. So instead of a common occurrence where people are having meetings about a meeting, you can just have pretty much the next steps taken away at the end of that meeting by having not to take the notes yourself. It is a massive time saver, and I think that is one that is everyone should have. I really do. So now there's some areas where AI is helping, and some of the tools that we both cover ourselves, but I also stand by these as being the best in their field. So for transcribing meetings and giving you the notes and kind of the action plans that we were talking about a moment ago. So the ones that we use with Otter AI, so fantastic about if you're wanting to have it in an online meeting or an in-person meeting as well, doing the exact same thing. There's also other ones. So you've got Fireflies. I think that's the one you use, David.
I use Fixer, but yeah,
Oh,
Firefly,
okay.
I think Fixers are very good to sorting your inbox. It's email driven as well as a note taker, but it's very,
Yeah.
very useful.
So that's a multifunctional.
Yeah,
So yeah, so Otter AI is the one we use. I think it's really easy to use, fantastic tool. And yeah, this is one where when you implement it, you will start noticing kind of over time things like that. You become kind of numb to the fact that your AI is actually giving you or saving you so much time in putting together a plan afterwards. So this is where I think once you start implementing these things, it feels like it's kind of hard to, live without them. And
100%.
Perplexity AI. So I've used this a number of different times. This is definitely the Google replacement in quotation, should I say, when conducting research or learning about a new topic. You get all the kind of the credible sources linked to it. You get to check where the information has come from. And unlike AIs like ChatGPT, for example, it doesn't require AI training data. It is something that goes through the internet and essentially gives you the latest and up-to-date information. So it's not conversational in that same aspect, but what it does is it does research, and I would suggest it does it better than any other AI available.
It's definitely a good starting point for blogs and post ideas. So I've previously used Perplexity where I was looking for the latest private wealth trends in Riyadh or Lagos or different markets that I was trying to share information on. And you can use it as a starting point to ask it the top trends, and then it will come back with reports from PwC or UBS. As you say, it's using top quality sources and referencing that back to you. That has a different feel to the AI summaries that just literally spit you the answer out.
No,
It's
definitely,
giving you
yeah.
the tool to go deeper, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It really is, a level further than what the other kind of the quick 5 second summaries give you. And it is really powerful. You can choose what sources it uses, kind of what time frame it uses to search for. So it really is kind of personalized to exactly what you're looking for. And Copilot as well. Copilot is a phenomenally powerful tool where it is built in within the Outlook workspace. And similarly to Gemini with Google, it's essentially there at all times on your dashboard. So if you're wanting to draft an email, summarize an email, find out a note from your Google Doc a month ago or something, whatever it may be, I think Copilot, and the same for Gemini, but I use Copilot for our Outlook space. I think it is fantastically powerful and really easy to implement. So I think these are all, so far, all quick, easy wins that with AI are made even quicker. And yeah, the next tool, so Mem AI. So essentially, you link it to your OneDrive or your Google Drive, and then all of a sudden it has access to essentially all the notes. So when you go to it and say, "Oh, what was the topic we spoke about in this meeting?" for example, it'll be able to tell you in a 30-second response, for example, or if you're wanting to know. If you're so in our case, for example, when we're putting together script writing for new modules or something, I can ask it, oh, what was the tool we use here, or what was the intro for this script? It'll literally give it to me straight in front of me as if I have the document right in front of me. It's a fantastically powerful tool. And the next one as well, the Mail Maestro. So when you're spending half an hour in the morning replying to people, starting an email from scratch, or even if you're trying to use ChatGPT to draft something for you, Mail Maestro is actually built into your Gmail or your Outlook desktop, and it is literally right there to be able to help you draft like a new template for someone, fill in the so instead of having to have a template for an email and change the name and the subject, it does all that for you. So that's where it recognizes the email recipient, kind of the subject being spoken about, and you can make subtle changes as well. So this goes back to the human oversight part, but it is a really good tool to give you a fantastic first draft in a very short space of time. And then finally, ChatGPT. So this is by far the market leader in the kind of generative AI space. And it stands out for being a conversational AI assistant where if you're wanting to ask it kind of a question about something, or in my case, ask it to create like a session plan, for example, it is very good at being able to almost work with you as an assistant to put together something that thinks like you and wants the same output as you. And this is where it is fantastically powerful to actually have there pretty much at all times. And I would suggest this is the tool. If there's one tool that you learn like to begin with, it's definitely ChatGPT.
And also, I mean, it's there's obviously you can use it for free, but you can also subscribe. I mean, what's the difference do you think between people who are paying for ChatGPT and people who aren't? What's the differentiation?
Yeah, so I had a look at this a few weeks ago where we kind of compared the free version of ChatGPT and the paid version. And I think if you're working within ChatGPT for hours a day, I think there's definitely a significant return on investment for actually subscribing for, I think it's like $20 a month. You get access, so you can make your own custom GPTs. So if you're wanting your own, pretty much your own like smaller version of ChatGPT for a specific task, you can have that. You can create projects. So they're essentially folders where you can organize all your chats into a folder. So if you're planning, as we're going to have a look in a second, like a Dubai trip, you can have all your chats related to it in a folder. And then the AI agent feature, which I'm really looking forward to showing you later, is really kind of that takes the autonomous side of AI and really takes it to another level. And you can essentially see it working in front of you as if it's a person at a computer screen, and it's really, really powerful. If you're using ChatGPT a lot, I would definitely recommend at least trying it and having a look, see if the features are for you. But yeah, there's
Because it's
definitely
not
really
expensive, is it? It's a subscription model. It's not something where it's not a big decision, is it, really, if you
no, yeah,
value.
yeah. For the relatively kind of inexpensive startup, it gives you so much to return on. And yeah, once again, once I start with the pro version of ChatGPT, I can't see myself not using it. It's just one of those. But yeah, and this is something I really try and make clear to people who are approaching AI for the first time and are concerned about it kind of taking over, if you will. And this is that AI does not replace the assistant, but more so it makes the assistant 10 times smarter. So being able to work quicker, being able to source information quicker, being able to put together better and quicker proposals and replies, I think it only helps amplify the abilities of the individual already there. And another one as well is that people with AI will almost certainly in the future replace those without AI. So it goes back to the thing where AI is there to almost amplify instead of replace. And I still definitely believe that. And I think it's something which should be kind of seen as kind of the way to approach AI. That's the way I view that. So we're going to be having a look at a deeper look at ChatGPT today, seeing how it actually differs from the other AI tools available. We're going to see how essentially you can customize it with your own personal instructions as well. And it also builds memories around you, so your current situation, for example, where you work, what writing style you like, as you mentioned a moment ago. Also being able to provide you with image generation. This kind of builds on the multifunctional aspect of it, so you can generate images with it. You can use it for like kind of voice to voice conversation, or you can just use it as a kind of like text response tool. So yeah, you can pretty much use ChatGPT however you like. And the ability to be able to upload images and the AI to read images as well is really powerful. And this is something which I use a lot myself. And I think having that ability there to use something with this capability is, a no-brainer in some cases. So the first demonstration of actually using ChatGPT I want to show you today is essentially we're going to be turning a 10-page, this is an FCA update, a 10-page, 1,200 word document into a very easily digestible bullet point list with a short summary. So essentially the idea here is to take a good solid 10 minutes of reading into less than a minute of reading. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull up the PDF from before. If I just go down to here, there we go. So this is the document here that we have. So it's 10 pages of quite solid kind of writing. This would be
Hmm.
quite a serious read if you were to sit down and kind of go through this and then try and find some notes to take away from this. So to give you an idea, what we're going to do, we're going to download it here. Or not. Well, I mean, what I'll do, if I can, I'm sure I can copy and paste it, but it's much easier to download. But anyway, I'll copy and paste it
Tab
here.
on the left.
It's not really coming up. I'm
Yeah,
trying to download it here, but I know what I can do. I can take it from here, I suppose. I think. If I take it here and I go to ChatGPT, no, oh well. What I'll say is can you turn this document into a 200-word summary and a list of bullet points? So it should be able to read this here, and then it will be able to. Oh, it can't access it. I don't know why it's not downloading it for me, to be honest. I'll try it again. Download it here. If I go to my previous downloads, I'll be able to find BCD, PDF, FCA. This should be it there. No. Well, that's a pain. What I'll do, I suppose if I can copy all the text from it, that would be the only way I can kind of go about it. If I say, open a new chat, no, it's not doing it. Where did I get this from? For some reason, it's not downloading. There we go. I found it here. Found it. This should be it. So if I download that, there we go. I'll say, can you?
We had to go lateral on it, but we've got there in the end. So yeah,
Yeah,
see what it comes up with. That's
of course,
fine. It's
of
all
course, it's
live.
not the AI for playing up this time. Can you turn this into a 200-word summary and a list of bullet points? So this is quite a lengthy document we've put into it here. And in a matter of seconds, it's gone through the document for us, put together a much shorter summary here, and given us some kind of key takeaways. So instead of having to go through a solid 10 minutes of reading, this would be something you could very easily put into a presentation or simply a document itself. And yeah, a much easier read than sitting there going through a real proper long read. Just
Even
another way.
circulate to colleagues. So if you've kind of like you get the legal firms will produce a lot of information like this for trustees or for bankers,
Mhm.
and people won't need to read the whole thing, but you might need to, like circulating this for info for the wider team. There's
Yeah,
a lot of value there, isn't there?
yeah, and it makes it so that, for example, if you've got some potential kind of younger staff that may not understand the terms, it makes it a lot more digestible for ultimately everyone to be able to understand what it's saying. And you can ask it as well, say, uh, can you humanize the 200-word summary? So it makes it a lot more kind of understandable for someone who might not be as well versed in this space, for example, and making it a lot easier to read for
Mm.
everyone involved. So there's a number of different ways that you can utilize the conversational aspect of ChatGPT, but this is just one of them, which I think is a good job saving kind of 5-10 minutes here and there and making life a lot easier in general.
Yeah.
So that was we got there in the end, but ultimately you can see that ChatGPT has a really powerful way to be able to save you a good amount of time with quite little. I would suggest quite little kind of startup, something quite simple, just asking it to make a brief demonstration there of how it can save you quite a lot of reading. Now, our next one, this is going to be a bit more in depth here. This is where we're going to ask ChatGPT to help us put together a business trip to Dubai. And we're going to ask ChatGPT for a cost breakdown, reasons for its choices that it's making. And we're also going to make it so that we ask it for an alternative option for each. So instead of allowing the AI to select one option, and that's the only option we have, we're going to ask it for an alternative option. Now, if this was a trip we were actually going to plan, we might ask it for 4 or 5 options, just so we can, as the human oversight here, choose which one's best and make the most logical decision. So I've already engineered a prompt here, and I'm going to go through it very quickly just so you can understand why I've put the prompts together. So to begin with, we say, hello, ChatGPT, I'm going to Dubai in a couple of weeks' time to meet a potential client who's interested in moving his structure to us. So this initially gives the AI a bit of context about kind of why we're going to Dubai and exactly what our purpose is in terms of who we're meeting there. And this is where we say, I need you to find me a hotel for 4 nights, business class flights from Heathrow on the 15th of October to Dubai, returning on the 19th. I also want you to find me a top restaurant to eat at to take the client to. When doing all this, can you suggest an alternative for all 3 areas and provide a cost breakdown, please? So what we'll do, if I just exit through quickly, I just want to, if I just close out of this, I want to go back to this one here, where I can just copy and paste this first part to begin with and take it to ChatGPT here. So the same prompt as before, and we're going to pretty much hit enter there. And what it's going to do, it's going to take a while to essentially come up with the best options. It'll do it a little bit quicker than another alternative, ultimately doing it manually. But it'll go through all the options available online. This is where instead of using kind of training data in the conversational side of AI, you're actually asking it to go a bit further out and conduct a bit of research and tap into that capability of being able to go on the internet and find these options ultimately for you. And it's done all this in a relatively short space of time. It's, I'd say, three-quarters of the way through the process here, and it should give us some prices, some options, and some dates here. So this tends to be quite a short process, and when it gives us a response, you'll see how quite well detailed it is in actually giving you a really good kind of starting point to actually get these plans put together.
And it's interesting as well that you can do things like it can go to multimedia, so can lay things out on a visual, can't it? Use maps, different things like that. So it's like it's not just the text in and out as if you would get like a Google result.
Hmm.
You can work through it and it'll give you different outputs, won't it, according to what's required. That I think that is very different to just using Google as a search engine to kind of generate some of this. Because
Yeah,
that's the alternative, isn't it? Like you could just Google that phrase up top, but your result, the way the results are displayed would be fundamentally different, wouldn't they?
it would be, yeah. And with ChatGPT, you can ask it to put something in a table. You can ask it to give as many kind of like sources of information or links as possible, and where it got the information from. And it does make it a lot easier to actually initially, I go back to the same point as well. It makes it really digestible where you can view something for the first time. You can look through all the options in quite a straightforward layout instead of having to go through and actually find the options yourself and then have to kind of cross compare them this way. So it's gone for just under 2 minutes here. It's found us business flights from London Heathrow to Dubai and return. It's given us here, so it's gone from so this one's gone Emirates, and then the alternative here is gone British Airways, and it's going to do the same for all four. So it's given us an option A being the Four Seasons, and then the Waldorf here in the finance centre,
And
and
if
it's
you
going
look at it, I
to
mean, like there, as someone who's been to Dubai, I mean, there's like they recommend it. Obviously, Four Seasons is top of the market budget wise.
yeah.
Location, it's the perfect pick because essentially you want to be. There's millions of hotels in Dubai, and it could have just on a Google search given you anything. But like as a business hotel, what these results are coming out with are the places that make sense to to me. So or even on the client dinner, Zoomer and DIFC, these places are not just random results.
Hmm.
It's things that actually make sense to people who do this
Yeah, and it gives a
kind of
quite a brief
traveling.
reasoning at the end of each
Yeah.
one for why it's chosen that one. So if we go to the Four Seasons, it's gone for great client meet spaces and then recent nightly markers. So it's gone for the pricing as well. It's given a bit of a reason, and it's given you all the links as well, so where you can literally
Mm,
click on it and it will take you to the exact page where you
mm,
can do all this. So
mm.
huge time saving aspect here, but also does kind of hammer home the fact that it does give you the reasons for what it's chosen, and then it's given a very quick cost breakdown here. So the flights, the hotels, the dinners, and then it's given you kind of a total in the end. And it it's just a really good time saver, and it gives you a really good starting
Yes,
point to
so
kind of,
its top pick there is fly on Emirates, stay in the Four Seasons, and go to Zuma for dinner. I mean, those things like it does cut through a lot of noise, doesn't it?
yeah, it does. And it gives you, once again, reasons, but it also gives you a really good kind of comparison point for saying, okay, well, if, for example, if I don't choose, what was the example, if I don't choose Four Seasons, then it might not have great client meet spaces, for example. And it goes back to the same point where it's found you a really good first draft. And if you have any kind of, it's also giving you options here, alternatives. If you want to look at alternatives, it's done that for you as well.
But I'd
And
really encourage people who are on this call who have not tried this for a trip they're making to just give it a try, particularly even somewhere you know well to sort of benchmark the outputs. But it was also interesting that point which says, if you want to line up meetings, which firms are nearby. I mean, maybe we could just dig into that just to sort of.
yeah, definitely. So the second point here, I'll say now, can you give me a list of the five best private wealth lawyers in Dubai and create an itinerary to meet them, including maps, any additional details? So it'll do a similar thing it did before, where it'll go away and kind of come up with the best options uh, available. and it will juice it in quite a similar layout. And then at the end of this as well, we can ask it to put it all on a table where it shows us its first choices, its second choices, and then it makes it a whole lot easier to read. That's the kind of the best way to approach ChatGPT, I think, especially with the prompting aspect.
I mean, I've been going to Dubai for 10 years and I found that I actually did this search the other day when we were preparing for this webinar and found there were new names and firms in the mix that I wasn't aware of. So
Oh wow.
even in markets where you feel a lot of the landscape, it's a great one to just work out whether you're missing a trick. So no, I think but that's why, because it's searching the whole market. It's not based on your
No, yeah.
preconceived notions of what's what.
Yeah, no, it's finding you every option kind of available, and it you can see it as a positive or a negative, but it has no biases. So if you've been to Dubai before and you previously have enjoyed a particular area, for example, the Four Seasons, it won't prioritize that. It will find you the best options kind of on a data set. So if you're wanting to meet someone and take them to a nice place, it's going to find you a hotel which almost solves both those problems for you. And it's very linear with its reasoning as well.
And I guess this is also powerful in conjunction with LinkedIn. So you kind of like it gets some people out, and then you can go to LinkedIn and go, "Oh, that's interesting." Whatever top lawyer it is gets listed, and then you can work out how you can reach out to them. There might be a good contact of yours that knows them or is in touch. So it's like it's that
Hmm.
it brings it all together, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a complete workflow. It gives you kind of start to finish a complete business play, a travel plan, and then actually executing the kind of the networking for you almost. I'm sure if anyone knows anything about networking, it's definitely you. So there are some use cases for that, I think.
But it's something that also an assistant on the team can do this so like with some brief instructions, someone
Hmm.
can pull this out without much, just as a research project, can't they? Whereas previously a lot of contacts live in people's minds.
Yeah.
The senior person knows whereas this kind of thing democratizes that and allows the assistant on the desk to actually
Oh, 100%,
do
100%.
that
And
legwork that can find new ideas or new angles.
yeah, and on the kind of travel front, if you're wanting specific kind of parameters to work within, if it's budgeting or if it's dates, then you can give the AI as many of those as possible, and it will ultimately do its best to find you options within that kind of bracket that you give it.
Yeah, so if you were saying I want to stay in Dubai Four Seasons, but actually my budget is £150 a night, they'll probably say, well, you could stay at the Hyatt Place out by the airport. And, it depends what you're working with, doesn't it? But if you put your
Hmm.
parameters in, it's going to give you what's available.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to do its best. This is the thing with AIs. They do their best to be far too helpful and they do a good job of it as well. They will find you exactly what you're looking for, whether it's price wise, whether it's kind of what you see as luxury. It will do exactly what you ask it and it will fill those criteria uh, ultimately as best it can. So this should be at the final stages here. It's actually putting together the itinerary at the minute, and we could skip it here, but it's best to kind of just leave it to
Yeah.
kind of continue as it was. But yeah, this is once again, I use ChatGPT myself for using or finding new outreach contacts, and that's where the agents aspect in particular comes in. Being able to almost use your computer for you. And it's not using your computer, but it's set up its own desktop and it will essentially search the web for you, find contact information or addresses, and it will do all the kind of admin work for you. So here we go. It's finding us the 5 best private wealth lawyers to meet in Dubai. It's given us a contact number. It's given us their website here. If we go
Yeah.
and
Interesting.
so yeah, giving us a small little itinerary here. Putting together a full plan for us. 8 to 10 minute walk, 8 to 12 minutes. Would you have ever thought you'd have had an AI being able to be this intricate planning your day?
No, I mean, I think it's this is why it's so powerful. Obviously, it's one thing to get someone's name, but then it's the starting point. So having knowing the name of someone who is a mover and shaker, then it's the first step towards working out who you might meet and how you might do business together.
Mm-hmm.
and then you just got to find out, the things that are interest to them, and where you can make it a win-win situations. But no, I mean this kind of thing for new locations that you're going to is invaluable to make the most of the trips that you make, because so many people ask me when they're making trips, oh, who should I go and meet? What should I? So it's almost like they don't know, they're not using these tools, they're not tapping into the free resources that are there to kind
Mm.
of work it out.
Yeah, this really does kind of take care of all that for you where there's any uncertainty. It goes back to if you ask the AI to do something, you'll very quickly get an idea of whether it can actually do something for you or if it's just trying to be too helpful. And I think in this aspect, it's gone above and beyond. It's given us the contact details for the people to meet. It's given us the itinerary to meet with them, and it's given us as well some maps. It's given us some quick notes and what to cover with each one. So it's gone into detail about what it is they do, what areas might be of interest. So, for example, cross-border family governance, trust foundations,
Mm.
touch like really going into detail with each one, and you ultimately can build up kind of a pre-existing understanding of exactly what it is these people do before you actually meet with them.
But and also just looking at those little summaries of the type of things they're doing, it's obviously all based on what's published on the internet. So, I
Mm.
know Jan personally, and yeah, he's done a lot on foundations, on family offices, and he's writing about that. That's what feeds the inputs, isn't it? So
Yeah, yeah.
these results are not based on phantoms. They're like what people have published about, consistently over a long time, isn't it?
Yeah, and it shows you all the information here. So,
Yeah.
kind of collating all this information that it's put together would take, I'd say, probably a good afternoon's work. Whereas in 5 minutes here, we've put together travel plans to meet with them. We've
Yeah.
built an understanding of actually what it is they do, and we've got a kind of now a pre-existing understanding of what exactly it is they do and what their interests might be. So yeah, I this is the area where actually productivity kind of gets taken out of the question completely because
Could,
this
could,
is
could you then write, if you said write an email to Sunita about meeting up when I'm in Dubai to discuss the use of UAE foundations to hold assets for local
yeah,
funds,
definitely.
something like
So
that.
which one
Like,
was that? Sanita, you said?
yeah, so said write an email to Sunita about meeting while in Dubai to discuss the use of local foundations to own assets for high net worth clients or something like that, and see what it suggests meeting up.
There's something like that, you think?
Yeah, yeah.
And it'll put together a email based on exactly what it is that the information it's found out about her and her organization, and it'll put together a nice email to be personalized towards her.
But that's interesting. I mean, it just shows you like the versatility of this in building up uh,
Hmm.
trips.
No, yeah, it's fantastic, and like this does really take out a lot of the kind of startup of like sitting down, going, right, got to put together the business plans, put together the travel arrangements, and this kind of gives you all that in a very, very short space of time. So there we go. It's given us a subject there. It's going to give us everything in relation to the points that it came out with before. And this is something where, of course, if you were sending this off, you might not be 100% happy with it. So you could
Yeah, you
edit
tweak
it.
it, but it gives you a start, doesn't it? To say it'd be great to meet to discuss specifically this. Are you around? It's a it saves a blank sheet of paper, doesn't it?
It,
That you're
it
looking at.
definitely does. Yeah, it definitely does. It gives you, instead
Great.
of having to start up and then edit it, you can have something here. You can edit what you don't like, keep in what you like, and then
And so
ultimately,
it's picked the time that it suggested earlier on, did it? So that's
it looks like
Thursday.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
Thursday
clever,
at
isn't
4.
it?
Yeah. So yeah, a really kind of good complete workflow, and it could do the same for all the other four contacts that it came out with as well. And this would give you, uh, I would suggest, a really kind of complete business trip.
Okay.
So yeah,
Very
I
useful.
yeah, I hope that shows how kind of multi-capability ChatGPT really is. Uh, kind of easy. I think everything we did here was quite relatively straightforward, but also really quite a powerful workflow. Being able to find out all the information about these people, find out our travel arrangements, and the links to go and obviously view it ourselves, edit it ourselves, all these different things that we've seen there. So
Absolutely.
now that we've now that we've done that there, if I just go back to slide we were on. So the ROI of AI, so we've seen there that it can save a massive amount of time. Some of the statistics here, so we've got 40%, 30 to 40% reduction in compliance review time. So for example, viewing the FCA update, I think that was a really good time-saving exercise to begin with. Drafting reports, 60 to 70%. I can definitely see how that can be achieved in a very short space of time. Also, advisors are able to spend 25% more time with clients instead of actually having to take care of kind of the manual side of AI or manual side of like emailing or arranging plans, whatever, where AI can almost autonomously take a hold of that itself. And also you get strategic decision time. So you ultimately get to the outcome where you can make the decision 50% quicker. And I've got a little bar chart here which shows kind of before versus after AI, kind of the day-to-day structure. So on the left-hand side here, the without AI side, you can see that most of my time during the day is spent on content creation, with then a bit of emailing coming in total about an hour and a half here, or 2.5 hours, along with some admin and a meeting transcription, all that coming to about, let's say, 5 hours, for example. And then with AI, I'm able to essentially cut my content creation time by a third by using AI help me put together scripts, using AI to actually help me deliver the content, being able to use AI help me almost like template my emails, able to draft things quicker, send things off quicker. Admin tasks has definitely helped as well. So for example, using Mem with note taking, another one we use Clockwise for scheduling meetings, for example. And then meeting transcription. No, I do not transcribe any meetings at all anymore. That is completely taken care of by the AI. And as of yet, I've never been kind of disappointed with the result. It's never been something I've looked at and gone, oh, that's not right, or missed something there. As of yet, I have never had an incident with a meeting transcriber that has kind of required me to go back and change something. So far, it's been relatively flawless. So there's a number of things that we offer to corporate leaders as well in the AI space. So first one is on a risk and compliance side. So we put together AI policy templates and privacy guardrails. Since AI privacy is kind of such a big topic, I think all the time at the moment, we kind of assist in putting together things that comply with existing regulation, but also help get the benefit of what AI actually has to offer. And then on an efficiency front as well. So we offer the bespoke AI training, whether it's for analysts, associates, leaders, ultimately whatever AI training content it is you'd like to see, we can put that together in a very short space of time. Then on the client service front as well, we can essentially help you deliver AI enhanced reporting and benefit your client communication through our training as well. And then we also offer C-suite immersion days, where we essentially have a whole day or an afternoon dedicated to implementing AI, getting used to how AI works in certain systems, and essentially being able to be confident when using AI. I think that's a really important thing as well. And then finally, being able to implement AI, so implementing different tools that you're comfortable with, actually learning how to use them, and also in a regulated environment, so not having to kind of worry about, for example, the data privacy concerns. That's where we kind of take into account what the regulations are, what your regulations might be, and we ensure that they are compliant with that. Or if they aren't, then we do what we can to ensure that you're getting the most out of AI in a data compliant way. So this is where Utendum AI really thrives in actually being able to help you unlock the productivity elements of AI. I hope today was a good kind of example of how AI can actually help you on a productivity front. But this is kind of the tip of the iceberg. There is so much more to AI on a productivity front, whether it's saving 5-10 minutes doing this, or actually being able to transform the way your day-to-day routine works and being able to save literally double the amount of time and ultimately have twice as much free time to be able to do exactly what it is that you specialize in. So I'd love to hear from anyone that's interested. So I've got my email there, arthur.bennett@utendum.ai. Or if you'd like to check out the website, we've got utendum.ai there. I'd be delighted to hear any questions anyone has, whether it's through email, or we have our community forum as well, which is on the platform. So yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for that, Arthur. I thought that was a really interesting session, stacks of value there for people. And I suppose the message is there's lots of free tools out there that people should just get involved in, try,
Oh,
chuck
absolutely.
it and
Yeah.
see, but definitely reach out because you do need to be trained and prepared, and the landscape is complex and evolving. So yeah, recommend people reach out to Arthur for a bit of guidance, but do get involved because you might be surprised by how much time you could save or how much more business you could do. So thank you so much for joining us today, Arthur, and we really look forward to sharing this with the rest of our community. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for having me, David. I really appreciate it.